Slimehouse TV, myself, Theo Kane. It's Tuesday, so you don't know who I'm about to talk about some toys up in here. It's Toy Talk Tuesday, and in today's episode, I want to talk about something that's not a question or a discussion topic that's been asked by any viewer of Slimehouse or anything like that. I want to talk about something that I just get asked pretty often, and something that I see crop up quite a bit, and it's how do you start getting into toy collecting and selling? Where to start? It's such a minefield. And it's like anything, if you're going to get into it, and it's a world that's like completely, not surpassed you, but it's something that's been going on for a long time, and then you take an interest in it, you want to get into it. Where'd you start? I felt a bit like this in lockdown. I'd not played, it's completely different, but I'd not played any PlayStation games properly for years. I'd played Red Dead and things like that. Side note, my favourite game of all time. I love Rockstar. But I'd not played any games properly on my PlayStation for many years. And then when it was lockdown, I thought, you know what? I've got a lot of free time. I can't go out of the house. I'm going to get back into gaming. Where do I start? There's so many games to get into, and where do you even start? Same with Warhammer. I want to get back into Warhammer. Where do I even start? There's so many cool armies. Do I want to just buy the ones that I like the look of and just paint willy-nilly, or do I actually want to like focus it into one army and put it on the table and have just those as my army? Do I even want to play? Do I just want to collect the models? It's such a minefield when you get into anything that you've either took a big break from or you're leaping straight into for the first time. And toys is no different. And I think lockdown played a big part in a lot of people wanting to get back into toys, and it definitely helped boost the prices of them up, because all the people that did get into toys started jumping on eBay and buying them, and a lot of the people that have been into them a long time that couldn't go to toy shows and stuff like that was selling them or buying them online and things like that. For whatever reason, in the last 10 years, lots of people have got into toy collecting. Now, a lot of people say it's only in like recent times that there's been this big resurgence of toy collecting. But I've been into this all my life because I was raised by a toy dealer. So I've always known people that collected toys. I think people collecting like action figures, colourful 80s and 90s action figures is definitely boosted up in the last 10, 15 years. But there's always been people that collect toys. It's just what those people collect has changed because it's a different generation now of toy collectors that are into them, and the people that are into toys that are buying them now are people that are like my age or a little bit older or a little bit younger, but generally people that wanted to have the toys from the 80s and the 90s and the early 2000s that they grew up collecting, so that they grew up having as a kid. So even though they wasn't like too sought after 5, 6, 7 years ago, the prices in the last 10 years have just gone up and up because there's more people into them now. So how do you start getting into them? And I never try and deter anyone from like getting into toy collecting. I said, look, if you think you want to do it, then do it. Just bear in mind, it's a slippery slope if you're getting into it hardcore. So let's say that you're someone now that wants to get into toy collecting. You want to start buying a few bits. You're not sure what you want to buy. How do you start? So first of all, I would ask yourself like, well, why do you want to start? And as much as I said, I don't try and deter people from toy collecting. Just think, why do you want to start? Do you want to start because you just want to have a couple of cool things on your shelf because you watched shows like Stranger Things and the toys that made those and Ready Player One and things like that, and it's giving you a little bit of a nostalgic hit and you think, oh, I'd like to get into that. I'd like to collect some stuff from the 80s. Did you watch Cobra Kai and then think, oh, I won't mind getting some of them old Karate Kid figures and stuff like that? Did you watch Mandalorian and probably not the new Star Wars movies, but did you watch Mandalorian and think, yeah, I want to get some old kind of Star Wars figures? There's lots of reasons why we get that little bug that we want to start collecting, and I suppose the first thing to ask yourself is, well, why do I want to start collecting it? Do you want to collect it because you genuinely want to collect it, or do you want to collect it because you've seen some people collect it and you want to be part of the cool crowd that you think's cool? Some people don't think it's cool. I think it's cool, but some people might want to start collecting because they jump in on a little bit of a bandwagon or a hype train in the nicest way possible. So just ask yourself, first of all, why do I want to start collecting toys? Why? Did I watch a Slimehouse episode and Theo filmed them really cool and that made me want to buy them? Because I've been accused of that before. We did a whole video on it. But whatever the reason is, just ask yourself why. And then I suppose the next part of it is like focus on what you want to collect, because we all make that mistake when we start getting into toy collecting. And even though I've always been a toy collector and a collector in some form, when I got back into collecting retro toys when I was like 19, I definitely just went and got anything. I wanted anything and everything. Transformers, G.I. Joe, Godzilla, He-Man, Turtles, Thundercats, the rare knockoff Remco stuff, all that. I wanted it all. I didn't care. I just wanted it all. I just wanted to fill my brain with that retro goodness. I didn't care in what form, I just wanted it all. So some people will go into it a bit blind and just buy everything. They'll just buy anything cool, anything retro. And I find a lot of it comes from like Super 7 and Funko. They're like a great gateway drug. Some people will get the odd Funko Pop and the odd Super 7 3 3/4 figure, and then that's like a gateway drug either into the art toy world or into the retro toy world, or if you're like me, into both worlds, mostly the retro world. But they're like a great gateway drug. So people will maybe get a few of those first, and then they find that there's a toy fair, so they go to that, or they start buying things on eBay. And what you find a lot of the time, and we've all done it, you end up just buying everything that you see. You end up picking it all up. And especially if you go to a car boot, you just start buying it all. Not that there's a lot left at car boots anymore, but like a few years ago, like 7, 8, 9, 10 years ago, you could get nice hauls at the car boot, and you'll get people that just started buying everything because they just wanted it all, and they think, well, I'm not going to pass it up, maybe I'll sell it, maybe I'll trade it on further down the line. And then that's when you start becoming from a toy collector to someone that's got then stock to either trade or to sell, and you start becoming a toy dealer as well. Toy dealing is not something that I've ever been that big on. There's been times where I've sold bits because I've gone to either someone's house or a car boot and bought a load of stuff all in one lot and ended up with a load of things that I don't want, and then wanted to sell some, move some on, trade some, sell it for more cash for going on trips and buying more toys and things like that. But I would definitely say the first thing to do is not just go blind and buy everything willy-nilly, because you end up with no focus and you end up just with a load of stuff that in the end you're probably not going to want a lot of it, and you're going to end up being lumbered with it. So don't get lumbered with it, because this little toy hit that you want, it might only be temporary. A lot of people get into this just for a year and a half and then they're not bothered anymore. A couple of years, they appreciate it, but they don't want to collect it. In a lot of cases, they've got like family homes and things like that, and they have to reduce this stuff to like one small room or like one small shelf. I feel so bad for those people that have to have all their collection just on one little shelf in one little corner. I could never live like that. Like, I feel for you people, man. Sometimes people get a little bit of a hit, and then after they've got over that initial hurdle, they're over it, they don't want to do it anymore. So I would say don't go in too quick, spending lots of money too early. I'm not going to hit these like bullet points, like bullet point 1, bullet point 2. Just having a discussion. And as always, I want you people to let me know your thoughts on this in the comments below. But I would definitely say, and I think we can all collectively say, don't just go in crazy at the start and buy everything that you see. There's also the pros of that though, because a lot of the time when you start getting into collecting anything and you're buying lots and lots of different things, different bits. So I want to get some G.I. Joe, some Turtles, a bit of this, a bit of that. You end up learning what you like and what you don't like. The cons of it is that you get lumbered with stuff that you don't want. And in many cases, it's stuff that's pretty worthless because it's missing pieces, it's broken, it's battered, it's not really worth anything. So you just end up getting lumbered with it. You'd be better off giving it to a charity shop than you would like trying to sell it. But at least in doing that, you kind of find out what you like. What is the stuff out of all those things that you've picked up that really floats your boat and the thing that you want to focus your collecting on. Now, you get some collectors, and I know a couple of these, like I know my boy Wayne from Moto Evo. He just collects Masters of the Universe merchandise. Some of the figures, he's had all the figures, but he mainly focuses on like real dope merchandise and like the jackets that the people wore at Filmation and what they would have on their desk in the offices there, and he goes real deep into it. He's got an awesome collection. I want to go film it at some point, but he just focuses on Motu. Every now and again he'll dabble in a little bootleg or something like that, but he's mainly just 99.9% Masters of the Universe. I've got another friend, Dino Riders UK. He just collects Dino Riders. Again, a guy that I'm going to film all his collection at some point. But he's very focused, and I wish that I could be that focused when it comes to my collecting, because I like it all. I love the old stuff. I love some of the newer stuff. I like the really old stuff. I want everything from every line. That's my problem, and I went through like phases where I've sold lots of lines. Like I had every Street Shark, every Biker Mice from Mars figure. I had every Power Rangers Zord from the early Power Rangers releases, Bandai and stuff like that. And I sold them all. So I had money for trips and things like that. But then now I kind of wish that I hadn't. And not because I genuinely love all that stuff so much that I regret selling it, because you can always get it back. I just, now that I do Slime House and I do video essays and stuff, I kind of feel like I need an archive of every single figure that ever existed and every weapon, so I can pull them out if I ever want to do a video essay on them or talk about them in a video. I don't like these YouTube channels. Side note, I don't like YouTube channels that talk about toy history or talk about like the history of a certain toy or something like that, and then they don't show any of the actual toys. They just use archive footage and pictures that they've got off Google. If I talk about toys, I want to at least show most of the line or something from the line, or pull it out and be able to film it in my own way and talk about it. I don't just want to use archive footage. And we all have to do that sometimes as toy guys on YouTube and toy girls, but I like to be able to show the toy. So ideally, I would like an archive of all the stuff I talk about, which makes me wish that I didn't sell a load of stuff back in the day, but that's a whole different video. So by collecting a lot of toys, back to the subject that we're supposed to be talking about, by collecting a lot of toys, you can quite often get overwhelmed with things that you end up not really wanting, but at the same time, you find out the things that you did want, and then you can become a more focused collector. And like I said, some people just collect G.I. Joe. I find a lot of like G.I. Joe and Transformers collectors and Masters of the Universe collectors in a lot of ways just collect that one thing and they're really focused on it. And then you get others like me that collect a bit of everything. But I don't collect every single thing from every line. There's some toys, for example, Battlestar Galactica, the old 3 3/4 figures. I don't need every single figure from that line. Same with Black Hole. I don't need every single figure from that line, but there's the odd one that I like. And when you've got all those 3 3/4 on a shelf together, they look nice. I don't need every single Star Wars Kenner. I used to own every single Star Wars Kenner figure. Everything. Amalaman, whatever his name is, because I forget how you say it. Amalaman, Alamalam, you know what I mean. And Yak Face, and I had all them, and I sold so many of them and just kept the bounty hunters and the few that I wanted because I thought I don't need them all. They would be nice to pull out for a video, like I say now, but I don't need them all. So I'm now a lot more focused in what I collect, but ideally I would have everything. And I think ideally we would have everything, but we can't keep everything. And that's when you start getting overwhelmed and things like that. So I would say if you're wanting to get into toy collecting, just be kind of focused. And I know it's hard because it's coming from me and I understand how hard it is to stay focused on one thing or know exactly what you're going for when you start collecting. But it helps to have a little bit of that. So then you can really focus on what you want to collect and what you want to get out of your collection. And if you want to collect because you want to collect the stuff you had as a kid, or if you want to collect because I've heard it's worth money, so I want to collect this because it'll be worth money in a few years, then that's also something people do. But I will tell you, if you think you can get into toy collecting because you want it to make you rich and you want to buy and sell and be this Del Boy wheeler dealer, even though Del Boy never made any money really, if you want to be like some wheeler dealer toy guy and you think that you can like leave your job eventually to do it, then like it's very, very few and far between that anyone gets to do that. And in this day and age, there's never been more people out there trying to pick up this retro stuff and sell it for the highest price. So I would always advise, if you want to get into this, get into it as a fan and somebody that wants to appreciate the toys and not somebody that wants to buy them to sell them to make money, because that's getting harder and harder and harder. And there's people that are in the toy game that's been in it for years that have way more money to invest into it and have way more contacts and they know what stuff's worth, and they will always be the ones that will be able to ride this through, and even they will have times where they really, really struggle. So I would say, I often see on like Facebook Marketplace and stuff, because I'm always on there, people are like, buying retro toy collections, let me know, cash waiting. And I can just tell that the people that's got into it for like a couple of months, and in a few months they won't be like that. And these are the people that often hit me up and be like, yo Theo, I'm selling up, do you want to buy all this stuff? And even now I don't even really buy those big toy hauls, and I'll pass them on to someone else because I just don't want to be lumbered with it. But I hope that answered the question a little bit of how to get into toy collecting right off the bat. So we're going to say, find out why you want to toy collect. Ask yourself why you want to collect toys. Try and find a little bit of a focus. Don't get into it expecting to make a shit ton of money. Also, don't get into it wanting to spend a shitload of money. Don't go in and just start dropping grands and grands on stuff, because chances are you're either overpaying for it, in a few years it won't be worth that, or you're going to get taken advantage of, or you're going to end up spending a load of money on something that in a few months you might not even be that bothered about, and then you're going to have to try and sell that for that price and maybe not get the price that you got for it. So go into it slowly, have fun with it, but it is the coolest thing ever. And if you haven't already noticed, I live and fucking breed toys. So I hope this answered the question. My name's Theo Kane, this is Slimehouse TV, and I would love to know your opinion on today's discussion topic. I went on a bit of a tangent, but we always go on a bit of a tangent here on Toy Talk Tuesday. It's very free and easy. I don't really make any notes or anything like that. I freestyle this whole thing, as you can probably tell. I just pick a subject, either one that I want to talk about or one that's been left in the comments, and we just talk about it. So if you've got any topics that you want to talk about in a future episode, then let me know below. I always need them. Don't be scared or feel like you don't want to tell me a subject. Please tell me it. I might not use it. I might think it's not a very good topic, or it might be something that's not right for this particular show. But I always want to hear them, so please let me know in the comments below if you've got any Toy Talk topics, and we'll talk about them on a Toy Talk Tuesday. I'm also on Instagram. You can hit me up on Instagram. I know some people don't like to comment. They prefer to inbox and stuff like that. That's completely fine. Inbox me on Instagram at Theo_Kane_Slimehouse. I also drop a lot of exclusive photos on there and stuff like that. So also follow me on there as well if you've got an Instagram account. And also, if you want to help make Slimehouse bigger and better than ever, you can head over to patreon.com, and for as little as $1 a month or more, if you're feeling a little bit generous, you can invest some money back into Slimehouse and help me make this show bigger and better than ever, because I don't just do these little Toy Talk Tuesday videos talking to camera and stuff like that. I do big video essays, documentaries, out and about filming, all that kind of stuff. Lots of cool stuff that I'm doing here on Slimehouse, and you can help support that. So, with all that said and done, like I said, I really want to know what you think about today's discussion topic, so let me know in the comments below. I'm Theo Kane, and I'm going to catch you in the next video, in the next Toy Talk Tuesday, or in a Friday drop, or in a little midweek drop, or whenever you next see me. But I will catch you then. In a bit!